Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Lord Paul. Thank you for being here. This show I'm calling Culture Vulture. So the uproar about Phil Jackson is the fact that he went on some show and stated that he doesn't watch basketball because they support Black Lives Matter. Um, he pretty much showed his true colors. He's a racist. And so now they're bringing up old clips of Scottie Pippen calling him a racist. Now we understand. Back then we didn't understand. We couldn't see it. But this.
But have you talked to Phil about this? Because by saying a racial move, then you're calling Phil a racist.
I don't got a problem with that.
Do you think Phil was or is?
Oh, yeah. I mean, do you remember Phil Jackson left the Lakers, wrote a book on Kobe Bryant, and then came back and coached him? I mean, who would do that? You name someone in professional sports that would do that, you know?
Is what America's about. This is the secret society that I'm talking about. This is the matrix that I'm talking about. We know how evil America is, but one thing is consistent: they constantly keeping black people down. Now, if they would have stopped that, don't you think we would have a better America? Because you know who stayed in power? White people, and it's just getting worse and worse. But emotionally, white people don't even think like that. They can't. They are not going to be able to look in their past and accept that, even though they're all about their forefathers in their past. When it comes to actually looking in their past, they're not doing it. That means we're not dealing with sensible people or reasonable people. You can spin it however you want. I'm just a racist. But eventually, you're going to have to come into terms that these are who these people are. You don't come from a satanic murdering race within 100 years or so and then be the most sensible race. No. What happens is you split the narrative and became less violent and more treacherous and more cowardly like. And now in 2023, we have this America now, which wasn't much different than the satanic murdering America that you created. Just more disguised. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, what I consider the matrix. That's what I consider the secret society that we really live in. There is no deep state. There's just people who are privilegedly white who actually wanted to destroy human race, whether they're white or black. And then you have people who just act like it's the black people destroying the human race. That's what white America is. Integration was the worst thing that happened to black people. And it's showing every day. And our parents were cowards. They stopped teaching us not to trust these white people. Probably for the sake of just keeping your jobs and all that, I get it. But if it wasn't for people like Malcolm X dying, we wouldn't even have that. So being cowards, it's not how we got as far as we had. But now we're completely in a cowardly state. Joining white America in this cowardly. Why they constantly complaining about the government, but coming out and saying how much you love America. That's fucking an oxymoron. Understand. It's not the government keeping racism alive. It's the American people keeping racism alive. And they got help from the Mexicans, the Asians. I don't see how you come from a different country or knowing your origins is from a different country and you come and you support white supremacy. That's not being proud. That's being a coward. That's wishing you were white. Okay? So let's expose this illusion that this is a free country. Or white people love white. They're actually decent white people in America. Let's expose that myth. So you know how the world loves Kobe Bryant, right? I mean, it's not just an LA, California thing. He was loved worldwide. So when that news came out and called him the N-word and tried to
perfectly cast on the Los Angeles Lakers. Kavita, if I could ask you to.
Oh shit! Cover it up. She wasn't fired. None of the actors or the coaches in the NBA didn't step up and say nothing. None of the so-called decent white people had anything to say. This is Kobe Bryant. This is the reason why we believe America is a free country where black people can go and have a good life. He's the embodiment of that. And Phil was the trailblazer of that. You know what I mean? We look, as black people, we're looking at it like, look at this white man standing behind Michael Jordan, standing behind Kobe Bryant, standing behind Shaq. Now, we already know Michael Jordan is a coon and Shaq is a coon. Look at his mentor. We see why. It looks like they had to get rid of Kobe before Kobe exposed the real.
I remember Phil saying that you were like, You said you had to check him a couple times, so I don't know if anything stood out.
It was one, and I've talked about this before, and we were in a huddle, and Phil was like, "You need to know the sound of your master's voice." And I looked at him, I was like, "Whoa, we don't do that. I'm from the South." And B. Shaw said something, and I said something, and he was like, "No, I don't mean like that. I don't mean like that. You know, I mean like, you know." And he explained it, but I said, "Dude, that's too close. That's too close." And
now it started to seem like, because the uproar is that Phil came out and said straight up he stopped watching basketball because they started supporting Black Lives Matter. As soon as we realize that these white people have a problem with the cops not able to kill an unarmed black man because he's black, as soon as we realize that white America has a problem with that, not allowing the cops to do that, the safer we'll be as black people in America. Lift up the veil and realize we're still dealing with blue-eyed, blonde-haired devils. So, Scottie Pippen, Ben called this guy a racist. But if he would have came out full-fledged, they probably would have blackballed him. They probably did. It's probably why we don't hear about Pippen. I'm not saying there's no decent white people in America. What I'm saying is, if you think that half America is decent and the rest is racist, you would be mistaken. You would be highly mistaken. It's a lot more. It's not the government keeping racism alive. It's the American people. I can't stress that enough. So I'm going to have some clips here and there just to bring you some type of receipts. Yeah, and understand, integration was the worst thing that happened to black people. And if you still trust white people at this point, that's probably why you took the COVID shot. All right, I'm out. Until next time.